The Department of Science, Technology and Innovation says the Science Forum South Africa gathering is an ideal platform to showcase South Africa as a premier destination for research and innovation. Over 5,000 participants are attending a week-long gathering at the CSIR Convention Centre in Pretoria. The gathering aims to ignite vibrant discussion on the role of science in society between all stakeholders, that's the scientific community, government, industry, as well as civil society at large. Let's take you to Pretoria now. This is where we find SABC News reporter Patricia Fasakli. Patricia, good afternoon. I believe you're joined by the Minister to unpack a bit more about this gathering. It's over to you.
Well, definitely the Minister of Science, Technology and, of course, Innovation, that being Dr. Blade Nzimande, joins me. He just concluded his opening address here at the Science Forum that's obviously taking place at the CSIR in the heart of the capital city, Pretoria. And he's dealt with a number of issues that have to do with some of the challenges that are faced by communities, the African continent in particular. And he hopes that this particular forum, with all the great minds that are gathered here, can find some innovative solutions to some of the challenges that are faced by not just Africa, South Africa, but the globe at large. But one of the interesting things that really caught my attention is the Minister in his speech highlighting that science can be used to obviously find solutions for Africa's problems. And you're talking about a fund, research, an African research fund. If you can elaborate more on that, Minister.
Thank you, Patricia, and good evening to your viewers and listeners. Yes, I'm very convinced that with more investment in science into our continent, we will find solutions to many of the enormous problems that actually faces. One of the great challenges and difficulties that face the African continent is that it has very little funds of its own that are mobilized and that can be deployed into science, into research. That is why what I'm calling for, I'm not only calling for this, I want to be an active champion of it, is actually to establish something akin to an Africa Research Fund, which will put in funds from the continent as well as from our true friends from outside, to say we as Africans must then prioritize and say this fund must actually research A, B, C, D. Because the problem with donor funding that we get as individual countries, it's donors mainly who normally set the agenda, and the agenda set by donors often conflicts with the agenda that we want, the things that we actually want to pursue as Africans. So one of the most important things I think can begin to make a contribution in shaping an African research agenda is a research fund, a sovereign research fund, if you like, that we are able to. And we say to our true friends, come and assist us with this.
Who are our true friends, Minister?
Well, there are a number of countries in the north who historically have been our friends. A number of Scandinavian countries, for instance, have been our friends. You may also even find some of our friends in the European Union, for instance, who have been working with us and who would be very keen to support such an agenda. And of course, we have got countries in Asia. The BRICS, for instance, are potentially our friends who can actually be able to help us with the resources in their own hands for us to establish such an agenda.
Would it not create the same problems? They're ultimately giving the funding. That means they hold the monopoly in terms of how that money is used, where it is spent. Would you not be dealing with the same problem, just in a different manner, on a different platform?
Potentially you could. But I think that the advantage of such an arrangement is that the problems that we'll be seeking to resolve will benefit the world as a whole. Not only going to benefit the African continent. For instance, today, which is one thing I dream of, if we can really find a cure for all the cancers that we have here in South Africa or in the continent, who would benefit? The whole world. Because cancer is a global problem everywhere. So those things are not really narrowly only about to assist the African continent. So our friends who work with us, who support us, may also stand to benefit from the innovations. Some of the innovation may be new products, new industries that are actually created, new economies, if you like, that are actually created that can be able to benefit everyone. So I don't think we should allow that to be an obstacle.
Minister, just short, we're running out of time. Just briefly, there are modern day challenges that South Africa is facing. We've got a water challenge. Recently, a lot of children have been dying because of food poisoning, different incidents. How does a forum such as this perhaps find solutions, provide solutions in that space?
Well, interestingly enough, I've raised the issue with the CSIR, and they've told me that they're actually partnering with the health department in some of the Gauteng townships to actually look scientifically into this problem of some of this food that is actually killing our children. So already our science system is getting closer to that, because I myself have said to them, what contribution can we make in this crisis that we are facing now as science? And we believe that science actually has got a lot of work to do to support this whole issue of our children being killed, which must be stopped.
Thank you so much there, the Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation, just giving us a summary of some of the strong points that he delivered in his opening address a short while ago. Of course, the Science Forum continues for the rest of this week. It will conclude by Friday with a lot of experts from across the globe that are gathering here to share innovative solutions to modern day problems.